Hello everybody, my name is Renato Francia and you're watching Code with Nacho. So today we're going to be dealing with Drupal content. And one thing that is really cool about Drupal content is how flexible it can be. And I'll see you in a few seconds what I mean by that. So first of all, let's do with the case that you're dealing with. And in this case, your manager has asked you to review some pages for the website and fix some articles basically. And you basically have to show them the changes that you built on the content. So here's the problem. You have to create some content, you have to make it easy to navigate, and also prove what you change in there. So basically it's going to look like this. This is the content and the dashboard that we're going to be dealing with, and that is going to be something that it's basically the heart of Drupal. Now for this task, there's no need for a lot of experience, and we will not be dealing with any code whatsoever. It's basically all core. So here's a solution for what we're going to build. We're going to go through the content dashboard. We're going to see some pages, and we're going to see some of the content of those pages. And finally, we're going to do our changes and see the revisions. So we can show basically a manager or a client what we have built. So here the task, we're going to go here, go to the content dashboard, find the pages that we need to change, or just get some pages and do some changes, perhaps some improvements. And then after that, we have to create one article, at least to show our manager what we're doing in this case. So let's begin with the content pages, and let's start doing handling the dashboard. For this example, I have used a Umami Food Magazine flavor. This is basically a profile generated by Drupal core, and you're able to actually install this. And the idea is that it will create some content for us, which is nice because that way we'll be able to start testing oral modules or different type of topics that we have here. So first of all, let's go to content and see what it is. We can see here the display for some recipes, some pages. We can even see some pages in different languages because that's actually separated by language of English and Spanish. Also, we can see some categories being created, and in the end, we have an option for having translations and images created there. So we have a piece of content in here, which is pretty nice. And let's see first of all at this navigation option. We'll deal with blogs, files, and media, which is something that is also going to be very important for content. But for now, let's focus on content that it's been created, articles, and some pages there. So first of all, the first thing that you see here is that you have the option for adding content. If you click in here and see what the options it gives you, it will be basically for adding content, articles, basic pages, and recipes. We've already seen that. So let's deal with what we have with the dashboard. So for example, we have some filters for title, content types. We can filter by content type if we want to see only, for example, recipes, a published status, and finally some languages in case you have a multi-language type of site. So let's see all the recipes that are actually in English here. And here basically you have an option for not only seeing the pages, but also like see what type of content type in there. If you want to reset to see everything again, you can see all of the content types available for the site. And this is going to be your bread and butter for your content editors. Keep it in mind that all of the content that is created on Drupal is eventually going to see in the content type. So it's a really good idea to understand what are the features that you can have from here. For example, you can click on the title and start ordering the pages in case you know the name of the page. Same thing with content types. If you click on it, you can see from lowest, or actually by order of type in there. So same thing with the author. In the author, you have the option of seeing who is actually responsible for creating different type of content types. And finally, you can see here right on the right side, the operations that you can do with the content. For operations, you have an option for editing, translate, or even delete the type of contents that you have in place. If you click, for example, also on the left side, the checkbox, this type of window will open from the bottom, and you'll have an option for selecting or deleting even multiple type of contents. You can make them content sticky or sticky. Basically, this means that you have an option for everything that you created can be stick to a certain type of like view to show on some pages in there. Sometimes it's better just to keep those out. You basically also have the option for front page, making sure you promote some of this content directly into the front page. Same thing with publishing content, save content, or even remove content from the front page, in case you want to take out some of the recipes or any type of other content being generated there. So this is one thing that your content editors will do. They will manage some of this content from the dashboard and finally be able to see what content they will be dealing with. Now, for us, it's going to be mostly generated content, and after that, see if that content can be actually moderated there. Unfortunately, Umami doesn't have the option to see moderated content in case there's some pending content that needs approval. For example, if we create a draft, and we'll see that eventually. For example, we create some articles because that's one of the things that we need to take into consideration. So let's create a sample article. Let's add some content saying that this is a sample article to create sample article about food. We can even copy and paste maybe some previous content in there and save it as a draft. We don't want this to be published. Now this has been created, because this is a draft, you have the option of actually change it to published, and maybe it's just send a small message in case you want to show the editor or the manager why you're approving this content. If we go ahead back in content and see moderated content, then we have the option of seeing the draft. So that's one thing you can actually do as a content creator. In case your manager asks you if you want to have some content there, they have some content pending approval, this is where you will see it on moderated content. Now, say for example, you don't like your first draft. Let's say they ask you, maybe you should need to add some content, say, maybe what's your favorite food? So let's just add, say, what's your favorite food? Perhaps a call to action to some of your users. Click on that again, save it as a draft. And now again, let's see it again. Perfect. Now we have the approval from manager. So let's say this is approved by manager. Let's change the status to published. Once it's been approved, the site is now live, and we can see it basically like there's no options for editing here, or actually that's saying it's a preview, because the site is already like approved the content and now it's visible for the users. If we want to see the revisions for all the changes, we can show the user, actually our manager, that we have done different type of changes. And after that, this is why we have a log message in here saying that this has been approved by manager on this date. And after that, we'll be able to make some changes to our content and finally have the approval for it. We can see other versions from previous versions in here. For example, we have seen a version in here saying that the initial version saying that it's only a simple article. And we can always revert to that version in case there's some changes that were not approved by manager, but they basically, in the end, they were published. Back again, we go back into our content, and we see that our sample page, our sample article, has been already submitted. So this is what we've done. Basically, we have created some content. We have edited some content on the Umami type of project. After that, we have made some changes. We have actually noticed what are the revisions. Usually, if you have a workflow for content, you will have to go through a process of drafting, and maybe perhaps approval from a manager, and then after that, publish. In this case, we have done it all ourselves. That's something that I think we have. We can skip now because it's just a small website, but just keep it in mind to keep always a workflow of how your content is going to be navigating there. And here's one thing too, this was all core backend. There's no modules installed yet. We're going to be dealing with modules later once we have dealt with core. And that's one good thing always to do after you take in the task for Drupal is always to ask some questions. Always ask. And you can do it by going into the Drupal Slack channel, and we have a lot of people there, but also there's a lot of forums there. I would highly suggest, if you're going into Drupal, or any type of software, go create a user account and start asking questions. Even if you are just a beginner, that is something that is always going to be nice to have, and also it helps a lot with the community. So if you like this video, please subscribe. I'll be doing more content related nowadays from PHP web development and also some mobile applications. So stay tuned to it, and thank you very much for watching.